Hi, I'm Firefighter Ray, and on today's show, I was notified by the Sayville Fire Department that Jerry Kaler has the best clam chowder. Now, as you can see, the Sayville Fire Department is a very competitive fire department. All these firehouses out here in Iceland are very competitive. But they want to see today if Jerry has the best clam chowder that has ever been on Firehouse Kitchen. So let's get ready to cook in Sayville with Jerry Kaler and his clam chowder here today on Firehouse Kitchen. All right, I am here in Sayville Fire Department with Jerry Kaler. How you doing, Jerry?
Hey, how are you?
All right, good. And we're gonna make a clam chowder.
Clam chowder. We're going to make it on the very same recipe that we've been using for about 80 years. 80
years. Now, one thing I want to say about Jerry is he's 52 years of a fireman. You are our most senior member on Firehouse Kitchen. I think that is very, very cool. Now, I'm in one of the neighboring fire departments. I'm in the Bayport Fire Department, and I've always heard about your clam chowder, okay? So, what's so special about your clam chowder?
Well, there's the special thing about clam chowder is the proportion of all the ingredients are to each other. You start with the clams and work up from there. You have approximately half the weight in vegetables as you do in clams, because it's supposed to taste like clam chowder, so it's got to have clams in it.
Now, this whole area, this was all clammers, and if we go back to when you first came on the fire department,
half this department was members were clam diggers or commercial fishermen.
Wow!
And so that making clam chowder that was substandard would just not do.
Okay, all right. So what are we going to start with?
Okay, we're going to start with bacon. The old timers used fatback. We use bacon.
I like fatback.
And the reason we use bacon is because it is of equal. The quality is very, how would I say, even, consistent. It's a very consistent quality. And what we do is we cut it in about quarter-inch pieces. And
I think we have bacon on every show. Okay?
Yeah.
It's huge in the fire department. Steak, bacon, potatoes. Every meal.
Well, if you look down through the history in the country, bacon is the basis for about 80% of everything we did.
Yeah.
You know, anything we cooked with a piece of bacon. If we boiled cabbage, we put a piece of bacon in it. I mean, that's the way it was years ago.
You sound like Jim Gaffigan, the comedian. That's what he talks about bacon. Is bacon.
That's true. Yeah. But if you look at some of the old recipes, bacon was the basis.
Yeah.
Because it was part of the pork barrel.
And it makes everything better.
Absolutely.
It makes everything better.
Everything's better. So what we do is now we got the bacon cut up, we throw it in the pot, and move it over on the heat.
Okay.
And the very next thing we want is some
onions.
And what we do is a rough dice on the onions, about 1/4 of an inch.
And what did you say before? Half the amount of clams or half the amount of vegetables to clams.
Right, in weight.
In weight. Okay.
In weight, when we use the clams, we take the weight of the juice is also included in that.
Okay.
And all we do is a 1/4-inch dice here, quick, of onions.
All right.
So we don't slide there. And find something
to scoop them onto it. Yeah, just do it the fireman way. We just grab it with our hands and we throw it in. Use a knife there. You got like a snow shovel. Throw it right in the pot.
Snow shovel's fine.
I love it.
When I get done, you need a snow shovel.
There you go.
There we go. And we let that brown up, and
just stir things around in there.
Stir things around.
All right.
Okay. Get that back.
All right.
And what we do now is what we like is about 1/4-inch cuts on
the carrots.
On carrots and just about all the vegetables, because most people like to drink the chowder out of a cup, and large pieces are a pain in the neck.
Yeah. So you don't
want to. So what we do is we just julienne them a little bit like this.
So you want everything just to go down.
And
nice and smooth.
Nice and smooth, and they cook evenly. And
there you go, beautiful.
And so on.
All right.
Then we go.
Little celery.
In the same way. We
That's it. We get rid of the garbage.
Here we go. Same thing, 1/4-inch cut.
Now I see you keep some leaves in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the leaves got a lot of flavor.
Leaves got a lot of flavor. I love it. All right.
And
All right.
the only thing we don't do is put the
That's what I'm
lower,
looking
the
at.
lower end in there.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little bitter at the end.
And
Mix it all together.
yes, and what we'll do is we'll take this.
There you go. That's it. That's the Fireman way. We find a way.
That's it.
That's it. No matter what, we find a way.
Find a way in the pot.
In the pot we go.
And
Give it another stir.
we'll give that a stir around. And,
All right.
and
Smelling good already.
oh yeah. Okay.
All right.
And then what we'll do is we'll add some potatoes
All right. We got some taters over
that
here.
have been previously cut. And we'll just, again, the potatoes are cut
Okay.
1/4-inch.
Now those are soaking, right?
Soaking in
Soaking
water.
nice and soft. Okay.
Right, that's exactly right.
All right. And some potatoes.
And,
Awesome.
and the next thing we do,
All right, now, this is your secret ingredient.
right,
Okay. This is what makes Jerry's chowder more different than any other chowder. All right. This is where we get rave reviews for. And what is the secret ingredient?
well, secret ingredient is turnips and parsnips.
It's not a secret ingredient. Everyone knows. Okay. Yeah.
At different times of the year, parsnips are stronger than they are like in the summertime. They're not as strong. They have a lot more moisture in them. The same goes with turnips. So what you have to do is adjust the amount of turnips and parsnips that you put in the chowder.
Okay.
Otherwise, it'll have a very irony taste if you put too much in. So what you do is this is a waxed turnip, and what you do is first thing you do is smell it. It's very strong, and so we're going to put in.
Is it stronger the better?
Well, too strong will foul it up. And
Okay.
what you do is normally I would put that whole thing in, but
Okay.
today we can't do that. And
We're just making enough for me and you. Right?
yeah, that's about it.
How many turnips? Now, when you make a batch for the firehouse, you're cooking for 150 people.
Well, I make 30 gallons of chowder then.
30 gallons of chowder.
And that's a completely different recipe.
Is that like 30 turnips or 100
Well, it
turnips?
calls for 3 bushel of clams,
Okay.
you know, and it calls for,
And there's 80 clams in a bushel. Right?
well, yeah, sometimes a little more. Depends
Sometimes a little more, all right.
Depends on where you get the
I
clams.
grew up on Long Island, so I used to go clamming a little bit when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we try to get clams usually from Connecticut shellfish
Okay.
because they're larger clams. And the older the clams are and the thicker the shells, the more taste they have. So we try to get clams from out of Narragansett Bay.
Okay.
We used to be able to get clams like that here, but they're all gone.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. We just get the little necks here now, right?
Right. So what we do now is again a 1/4-inch
Okay.
dice
Some turnips.
and turnips, and again here with a parsnip, and again a 1/4-inch cut.
You know, I think this is the first parsnip we have on the show.
Parsnips are very good. They're especially good baked. But,
Okay.
and they have a radishy smell to them. And,
Yes, you do. All right.
and
So parsnips and turnips. I would never think to put those in clam chowder.
oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
you'll see it in supermarkets in soup, concoctions that they have.
Now, what is your chowder considered? A New England or a?
This is Manhattan chowder.
Manhattan chowder. So
chowder.
a red,
But
a red chowder.
you got to remember that years ago, before tomatoes were common, chowder was made without tomatoes.
Okay.
Manhattan chowder didn't have tomatoes in it.
It was just
Right.
water. Just
Well, it was a broth, a heavy broth.
Okay.
And of course, chowder can be made from anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of the old timers on Fire Island, which they call Fire Island Starved to Death, making chowder out of the roots of cattails and seagulls. And
Sounds delicious.
but when it's the difference between starving to death and starving.
Wow, cattails and seagulls. Yummy. That sounds delicious. But hey, man, you got to make do.
Now, the next thing we're going to do is going to add a little tomatoes.
All right.
What we'll do here is we'll...
We'll use a big, I'll hold the jar for you.
without spilling it all over the place, we'll add
Put a little tomatoes in. And now, is this crushed tomatoes?
Yes.
Yes, all right.
All-purpose crushed tomatoes.
All right.
And we'll find some thyme and some pepper.
All right, a little thyme and a little pepper.
A little pepper.
So a little sprinkle of thyme. A little sprinkle of black pepper.
And
Give a little spice. Now, what made you become a fireman, Jer?
huh?
What made you become a fireman?
Well, it's just part of what you do for the community. Everybody that's part of a community has to do something for the community. And the fire department was, first off, you're doing something for the community, and to be perfectly frank, it's a hell of a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, a lot of camaraderie.
And a lot of camaraderie, and I know most of the people before I joined, so, you know.
Oh, very nice.
Sayville at one time was quite a small community. You know.
Yeah.
That's,
All right. That's good. So you're there for the community. I love it. I did it so I could break things and put out fires. That's what.
well,
That's what I.
you
Yeah.
can't beat that. But the only thing we need here is a little more liquid in that pot.
Okay.
And
So
we'll
get
that.
some liquid.
And,
Hey, this is some chowder we got going here.
and here we go.
And throw it in. Very nice. Do a little stir.
Quiet that thing down a
Yeah,
little
they
bit.
did quiet it right down. That's unbelievable. Look at that.
There we go.
A nice little stir. Yeah, baby. This looks delish.
Now we're ready for the clams.
All right, the clam. Oh, I got the clams ready.
Okay. And,
These look wonderful. It looks like a horror movie gone wrong. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna put these in.
Okay, start out right
Now, how many clams is this?
in there?
Yeah.
There's 25 clams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's actually pretty heavy for 25 clams. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. Unbelievable.
Okay.
Very nice.
Now,
All right, now how long do we have to let this sit for?
this has got to cook for another hour, but we have a pot here that's done.
Okay.
So,
You know what? Why don't we make some plates?
okay.
We'll eat some chowder. We'll talk some firehouse business, and then
Very good.
and we'll enjoy.
That's
All
what
right,
I'll
so
do.
we're going to clean up, and we'll be right back. I hope you guys enjoy this safety tip. Hi, I'm Firefighter Ray, and today's safety tip is not about smoke detectors, even though we know we should change those batteries every time we change the clocks. It's about removing the snow from fire hydrants, okay? If the snow piles up around that fire hydrant, and God forbid you have a fire in your house, the firemen aren't going to be able to find it. So, even though you're shoveling your driveway, please clear around those fire hydrants so the firemen can get to the fire hydrants so they can put out the fire on your house or somebody else's. I'm Firefighter Ray, and these tips save lives. All right, we are now ready to plate. Now, before we plate, I understand there's a few different chowders that we can have. There are.
Absolutely. There are chowders are unlimited to your imagination. Chicken chowder is very good. Eel chowder is excellent. You can make chowder out of any protein.
Now, you tell me earlier you did like you cooked a bunch of chowders and everybody just liked the chicken chowder.
That's right.
Everybody.
Chicken chowder is probably, of all the colonial cooking I've done, is probably the favorite.
Okay.
Chowder out of a chicken, just the way you would with clams. And it's,
Now chowder is there, why did it get its name chowder? What is the origin?
the origin of chowder is actually from one pot cooking. Years ago, people only had a fireplace with one pot, and when you added a certain amount of different ingredients, it became chowder. And in fact, around here was clam stew, and because there was a lot of clams and they were cheap, the term chowder really refers to is a soup made of virtually anything.
Anything in one pot. It's one pot cooking.
One pot.
Just chop everything up, throw it in a pot, eat it.
During the American Revolution, the basis for that pot was pumpkin
Okay.
and whatever protein you could find. And
So wait, they'd use a pumpkin.
pumpkin, cut it up, cook it in a pot with whatever meat was available.
Wow.
And that's what, that's what the American Army lived on during the Revolution.
Wow, I did not know that.
And the reason they used pumpkin is because pumpkin would grow in the woods. Okay. You could plant it almost anywhere in the woods and it would grow. And
have some pumpkin chowder, some pumpkin soup.
That's exactly right. But if it was the difference between starving to death,
yeah, that's true. I love pumpkin pie, so I like hot pumpkin things. Pumpkin pie with ice cream on top. So I go for some pumpkin chowder. I'll do it. All right,
I'll make you a bowl.
You'll make me a bowl of pumpkin chowder.
Okay.
Well, let's try some. I'll hold the bowls. Little one.
Okay, not on your thumb.
Nice. Oh, it's so thick. It's a chowder meant as a meal.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to bring them over. We'll put them down. Look at that. Look how thick that is.
Okay, and now what we do is we finish it off with a little parsley and chives.
All right, let's do it up nice. All right. Yeah, because Fireman we eat, so there you go. Little parsley and chives.
There we go.
All right, and here you are, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's do a little tasting.
Okay.
Okay, I love chowder. Oh man, Jerry. Oh baby, this is delicious. This has got to be the best chowder I've tasted. Oh my goodness, I'm spitting all over the place. It's so good. No, it's got a little spice in it.
That's right.
That's the black pepper?
Black pepper. Wow.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I believe chowder should have a little bit of a memory. Mm-hmm. And that's the way the old timers liked it too. They liked it because mainly they had salt and pepper. That was it.
Mm-hmm. Now the black pepper, you got a little something on your lip right there. There you go. Yeah, beautiful. Now the black pepper, I remember in the old days. It was like a specialty, right? Because it only grew sometimes during the year.
Right.
And that's how they got their heat.
Right.
So if they were out of season, no pepper.
Right. Well, one of the spices they used to use years ago is sassafras bark. The inner bark of the sassafras tree. They used in chowder in lieu of any other spice. They didn't have nothing else, so they used the inner bark of the sassafras tree, not the roots. The roots is what they made root beer from, but the inner bark is they use that as a spice, and I've used it. It's quite good.
All right, that sounds pretty good. Man. Now, before you were telling me some crazy story about the, I don't want to give away the ending of it, but something with a bunch of guys got a cop mad and what happened that night? I thought it was a great story, and I think I loved the ending of it.
Many years ago, there was guys around here were a little more fun-loving than they are today. Mm-hmm. They decided to have a parade at 1 o'clock in the morning. This was the night before the Memorial Day parade. So they marched down to the local diner, and if you played a drum, they gave you a bugle, so they made sure that it wasn't music. Yeah. And they marched down the diner, and one of the local cops, who was a little over-enthusiastic, gave them a lot of grief over it. And the next morning, he came down to the firehouse to go after the chief. And while he was in there talking to the chief, they filled his car with water.
So they charged the line.
They charged the line.
And they filled the cop's car with water. Oh, my goodness. And what's he going to do? He's not going to arrest a bunch of firemen.
Well, I was back when there was the Islip Town Police Department, and members of this department was the chief of the police department, so there was nothing done about it, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm sure he loved that. Yeah. Cops and firemen, we have our little. We always get along, Cops and firemen, they when in the New York City Fire Department, the cops come in, they have lunch in the firehouse sometimes. Yeah. But there's that little rivalry that we always have. My brother-in-law calls firemen scared cops because in the New York City Fire Department, a lot of the police department comes over to the fire department, so they would say they're scared cops. I say no, they're smart cops. They came over to the fire department because there's nothing like being a fireman. But yeah, so that's funny. That's funny. That's great.
True story.
That is great. Yeah, I have a couple. We have one where my brother-in-law actually, who is a cop, pulled up close to the rig, and he's busting our chops, and we shot him with the fire extinguisher, and and that was just he wasn't expecting it. I was on the rig, so he was gonna arrest us or anything like that, but it was very, very, very funny. Yeah, so I mean, this is very good.
That's what in small town America, things like that went on.
Yeah. Too bad
And of
now
course,
it's
today
regulated. Now if we did that, we'd get locked up, right?
We're way too serious today. No.
Everyone's got to calm down a little bit. Let the firemen have their fun. But now you call this Memorial Day Chowder,
Right.
Because you make it every Memorial Day,
Right.
Okay, and then you guys march in the parade. You have the memorial service.
Right.
So and that's usually for about 150 people, which I think is unbelievable. So we're going to call this Memorial Day Chowder on the website.
Okay.
And we're going to have all the ingredients. Okay. Yep. We're even going to put your secret ingredients of turnips.
Yep.
And
turnips
and everything in, and it's just unbelievable. You know, I don't know if I told you, I did tell you, Jerry, but we're raising money and we're trying to help out the Burn Center, and we're raising money for the Islip Town Fire Museum, and they're going to be building that right in front of Duck Stadium in Islip, and it's Sayville's. You said the Islip Police Department. That's why I'm bringing it up. Is where it's a very tight knit community. The town of Islip. We all work together. I'm a Bayport fireman. We go to calls with Sayville. We all help each other. And I'll tell you, this is the best chowder I think I've ever eaten.
Thank you.
To find out more about Jerry's delicious chowder and Firehouse Kitchen, go to firehouse.kitchenshow.com, and also go to Facebook. You can friend us on Facebook and at Firehouse Kitchen, and you can get information about our recipes, about how your firehouse can be on Firehouse Kitchen, and like how you got on. I got on. One of your members, sought you out, said you've got to taste Jerry's chowder. All right. And I think it's those turnips and those parsnips.
That's got a lot to do with it.
That make it more, more different than anything else. But it is just, I need a little bread and I think we're gonna go bananas with this chowder.
Yeah, we got bread.
All right, now you can find us on firehouse.kitchenshow.com, or you can friend us on Facebook. Especially if you want your firehouse, or you know a fireman who's got a great recipe. Just contact us on Facebook. We'll get in touch with each other, and we'll have a good time making some shows in your firehouse. Jerry, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you guys next time on
Firehouse Kitchen.
All right. I'm gonna eat more. I'm gonna eat more of this chowder. All right, it is awesome.
Okay.